What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another great edition of No Love Philly, the podcast dedicated to artists, activists, musicians, comedians, brewers, basically anybody in, around, or passing through the city of brotherly love that makes this place as awesome as it is. Today we interview Mr. Dominic Stone. Dominic is a local promoter here, a former frat boy. Are you ever a former frat boy? I don't know. But he definitely fratted up while he was in college. He's a pretty rad dude. He's done a lot of different things. He's bringing in shows. We talk about kind of like what his process is for booking. We talk about kind of like, the stigma of promoters ripping bands off, which he says he's got, kind of a formula about and for. It was all in all a good interview, man. I was really happy to get the side from a promoter, understanding kind of what that risk is of having to be the person to front it, fucking trying to do shows on a Tuesday and like a Tuesday night, like trying to make something happen regularly. So I know that I know that's a difficult thing, man. It really is. And so, but he's been doing it. He also has FamFest coming up, and he has not released the official lineup, but it's a bunch of bands over a 3-day period taking place at the Fire as well. So we talk about that. But yeah, man, he's doing it. It's happening. He knows the game, and we talk about pay to play. So yeah, man, we do that. So check it out. That's Dominic Stone coming up, and make sure you check out his event FamFest, which I forget the date on it. We talk about it, in the interview. So you'll definitely find out. And of course, it's 2018. Just Google FamFest or look up Dominic Stone, and you're gonna find it. But yeah, that's what we have going up. So what's going on at the Fire? Love promoting that place. Let's see here. April 17th, you have church open heckle mic. I really want to interview the guys that do that, or gals, or whatever. They, them. So April 18th, you have Woman Crush Wednesday. April 20th, you have Heart It Breaks Tour, Thoughts Jesse Glemon. You have on April 21st, Aviations, Circuitry, Moonstriker. On April 25th, you have Diaphene, Kendra Black, QQQ, Cellar Fox. April 26th, Samurai Pizza Cats with the Mojo Machine. April 27th, Call It Home, Young Graves, This Purse. April 28th, the Disgruntled Sherpa Project live at the Fire. And then that's all we got for April so far. Hope you guys enjoy this interview. It's Dominic Stone, and make sure to check out FamFest. All right. Let's see. Oh, fuck yeah. Well, you're golden, brother. All right, man. So I'm here with Dom. Do you prefer Dom, Dominic? What do you?
Either one. Dominic, Dom.
All right.
Let's go with Dom.
All right, cool. So you're going to have to hold this super close.
Okay.
All right, man. So a little backstory. I ran into you when I was there to interview Tooth Grinder. And the reason that I ran into you is you had a Facebook post on a Facebook post saying, hit me up and talk to me about this fest that's going down at the Fire.
That's right.
All right. So, but I also get the inclination that you do a whole bunch of other rad shit too, because you were there manning a booth for a band.
Yes.
Is that a band that you're in? Is it a band that you manage? What's the deal with that fucking band?
All right. So that was Left to Vanish. Good buddy of mine, Sean. He's the guitarist in the band. He asked me to help out with merch for the night, and I've helped him out before. So that's what I was doing that night. But I do that a lot with a bunch of bands. I'm an advisor for some bands. And, I don't just book shows at the Fire, book shows at Voltage Lounge as well. So I'm always all over the place.
That's fucking what's up. So the band, so your buddy's band, they fucking, I don't want to say open for Norma Jean, but they were definitely one of the openers for that. That was fucking rad as fuck.
Yeah. That was, they opened that date. They're a dope band. They just dropped an album called Dethroned in past October. Working on some new stuff. They're on New England Metal and Hardcore Fest. Okay. So they got some good stuff turning.
That's beautiful. So was that your show?
That was not.
Okay.
Yeah, that was not.
All right. So do you play in a band at all?
So I actually just started a band about 2 months ago. I was in a band 10 years ago. When I was in high school, and we toured, the East Coast up and down a little bit. I took a break, went to college. After college, I was like, I need music again. So
Fuck right, yeah.
Yeah, so I started booking my own shows, and then from there I just made so many friends, connections from all over the place. And just now I'm finally getting some time where I can finally start a project of my own again and have some fun with it.
That's cool. So I see you sporting the Drexel jacket. Are you a fucking engineer or some shit? Are you
This is actually a friend's jacket.
All right.
Shout out to Raquel. But I went to school at LaSalle University.
Awesome school.
And I graduated with my communication degree and majored concentration in public relations.
Fucking A.
Yeah.
So, do you have a bitchin' job? What's the
right.
day gig?
Yeah, so the day gig, I'm an operations analyst at GoPuff.
That sounds like some shit I don't know what the fuck it is. Operation analyst sounds fucking important as fuck, though.
Yeah, so basically I manage the inventory for 30 locations that we have. So GoPuff is one of the bigger startup companies in Philadelphia. We bring, delivery to your door, basically snacks, a bunch of stuff like that.
So wait, hold up. That's a Philly thing.
Oh yeah.
No shit. All right. So here's my question, bro. Because
Okay.
I've seen the fucking sign and I looked at I know exactly what GoPuff is.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, why is it called GoPuff? How the fuck did they? So in my mind, I was like, I want to know what happened.
Yeah, so the company actually started out being a hookah delivery service.
Motherfucker, I knew something had to been somebody's puffing some shit. Because
Yep.
or I was somebody had the munchies late at night and they were like, bro, it'd be a great idea.
That's pretty much it. They started with hookahs, and then they saw this demand for other items such as Doritos, snacks, and kind of just went off from there.
So did it start with some dude saying, "Hey man, give me some Doritos and I'll pay you $5," and all right, bro, I'm headed over there anyway.
I don't know much about how it started. I know it started while the CEOs were in Drexel. And then they graduated, started the full-fledged company, and it really is starting to take off. It's really awesome.
So is it something that's going to, I know this is completely off topic from doing it, but so the idea of this podcast is it's artists, activists, musicians, comedians, breweries, basically anybody in, around, or passing through the city of brotherly love that makes this place as awesome as it is. Mm-hmm. So it's actually kind of on topic considering that you work for them, right?
That's right.
You're obviously not the spokesperson or anything, but yeah, man. So is that something that's going to branch out into other, are you guys, is it available in New Jersey? Is it something that's going to branch out? Or?
Yeah, so right now, like I said, we have 30 locations. So we're in Center City, we're in Northeast, we're in Manayunk. That's just Philly. And then we have Denver, Atlanta, Chicago,
fucking
Boston.
Denver, Atlanta, Chicago. What the
Seattle,
fuck?
Portland. Yeah, we got a bunch of places. It's really
no
starting to be.
Shit. And so you guys just set up fucking little
warehouses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For real?
Yeah.
And you buy the shit, sell it at a profit, charge a delivery fee.
Yeah, that's basically, how it works. Someone will order on the app. We'll pack it from the warehouse in the bags. We'll send it out with a driver, and it comes right to your door. Try to be between, 30 minutes and an hour. That way you get some quick service.
How late can I order beer?
All right, so the beer, we got to follow the guidelines of every city.
Okay.
So, each city, when their beer store closes, that's when we're done. But our affiliate, operations are open 24/7. It's just that when the beer store has to close, you just can't order beer anymore, but you can order everything else.
No shit. And so how far out do you deliver? Do you deliver to the burbs too, or?
No, not to the burbs yet. There's a radius. I'm not exactly sure how big it is, but if you check out the website, it shows maps of all of our delivery areas and stuff like that.
All right. Well, now that you've given us some fucking introspective shit on some GoPuff, thank you for all of that.
No problem.
I'm pretty sure somebody there's going to be listening and be like, fuck, I do need some Doritos.
Yeah.
This episode is sponsored by Doritos and GoPuff. So fucking, so you did you played when you were out of high school. You fucking toured. Did you get to tour with anybody really big, or did you get to open up for anybody big?
Oh yeah, my band's opened up for a couple of big bands back then. I wouldn't say that they're big anymore. Maybe even big in the scene realm, but name some bands I've played with is Oceana.
Oh shit.
We played with This or the Apocalypse. We've played with Our Last Night. We've played with a couple of big bands that weren't big yet, because this was 10 years ago.
Gotcha.
So we didn't know how big the bands were going to be, but we were playing all these gigs, and all of them start to blow up slowly and surely. And, it kind of makes me wish I didn't go to college and continued that, but here I am now.
Well, fuck it. You got a steady job, which is something most musicians would really kill for. So that's awesome.
Yeah.
So So how did you, when you got out, how did you decide that you were going to start throwing shows, and what kind of shows are you throwing right now?
Okay, so when I got out of college, I was in a fraternity in college.
Oh, fuck.
And
Here we go.
I was in the EDM scene in
All right.
college. And then after that, I got back to real life, and it was like, man, I just miss metal and hardcore music. Like, I'm over some guy pushing the play button, and I'm ready to see some live music.
No,
again.
dude, they're DJing.
But,
They tell us so.
But basically, like, I would look online for like local shows because I was like, my band played local shows. There's got to be Philly local shows. And I honestly couldn't find any that I was extremely interested in. So I was like, you know what? I had a buddy that worked at the Trocadero. So I started booking my first couple shows at the Troc Balcony.
That's a big venue to fucking book.
Well, the balcony,
Okay,
upstairs.
Whatever, but... And then go on. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so I started there, and my first show, I didn't know like anyone in the Philadelphia music scene. I literally picked bands from just checking out Facebooks and YouTubes and like being like, oh, this band's sweet. I want to see this band. All right, I want to see this band. Made a band lineup of like 6 bands, and to be honest, my first show, 75 people came, and I was blown away.
That's fucking great.
Yeah, I was very
Congratulations.
shocked. Yeah, it was awesome. So from that
Was
point
it from
on,
all your frat buddies? Did they all
No.
like share posts?
No.
No,
The fraternity brothers, maybe 1 or 2 will come out and support me, but they all moved away or live farther away now. So I really just had to start from the ground up. And like once I made these connections, once I booked that show, I made sure to say hi to every single person that came, talk to every single person, find out what bands they were in, and basically just start talking and like bringing people together. Because like I noticed that. Like this guy on one side of the room and this guy on the other side of the room, yeah, they like the same music. Why aren't they talking to each other? You know what I mean? So
fucking communications major.
Yep, exactly. So from that point, I made like a small secret Facebook group, and that was called the Fam 100 Squad.
Oh shit!
And it was basically like these people that I would see that come out, and I would introduce myself with, and I would add them to this group, and then be like, "Hey guys, like this is this person. They love our music, like the same kind of music as us. Like, why aren't all of us friends?" And it started this crazy, for a while, it was like a crazy community on Facebook, a lot of love. And, it was just like people getting to know each other. And I really feel that like helped grow my shows.
Wow, that's fucking crazy. So what was the idea behind making it secret and not public?
The exclusivity.
That's what I thought.
If it's secret and people don't know about it, and then once they like are in it, they're like, whoa, like where have I been? If it's public and anyone could join, it's like, do you feel special?
All right. So do you think that group is bigger, or maybe do you think that people might get more out of it than they do out of like Philadelphia collaborative DIY or?
So, like, this wasn't about music, though, really. Like, we would post memes, we would post conversation topics, and we would just, like, take it beyond music. Like, yeah, like, everyone in this group we know likes this music.
Understood.
So it's like, what
So it's like
other
this thing of
common
ours.
ground? Yes.
Okay, got you.
Exactly. But, like, that group's not even a thing anymore. And
it got too popular, so we had to kill it. Right?
It's not even that it got too popular. It's like... once people know each other too well, it's like, little cliques and stuff like that happens, and it starts to divide a little bit. So, I kind of just like stopped posting in the group. It kind of just faded away. And, the people that still come to the shows that were in that group, I still definitely, love them to death. They've helped me.
So you're basically the inventor of Bitcoin. You just fucking walked the fuck away after you created this fucking thing, right?
I wish I made that
Shut
much
it
money.
fucking down, right? Yeah. Wow, dude, that's a really fucking rad story, dude. That is a fucking awesome story.
Yeah.
All right, so the group is non-existent anymore.
No.
Dead.
Dead.
You killed the group.
Killed it.
It's
done.
dead. Wow, dude. And how long ago was it that you killed that group?
Probably right before my first Fam Fest.
Fam Fest. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing Fam 100. I can tell you were a frat boy.
Yeah.
I'm seeing it, Yep. So all right. So I want to talk a little bit about like, okay, you said, oh, well, I just fucking had a friend that was like at the Troc, and I was like, yo, I'll just book the balcony, right? So,
Yep.
It's not easy for everybody to do that, right? It's not a super easy thing. And I think that one of the things, like, and even like booking here at the Fire, there's a lot of risk for the promoter to be able to do that. So what was the process? I mean, aside from being a friend, what was the process of booking the truck, and what's the cost for that, or how does that work?
So I don't know if they have the same pricing structure that they once had, because like when I started, it was 2015.
Oh yeah, 3 years later. Okay,
a lot changes in 3 years. But yeah, like basically, once my buddy actually doesn't work there anymore, but if you shoot an email over, they'll most likely respond, as long as you spell things right and it looks like you have some kind of credibility or know what you're doing. They'll answer you. They'll get you. I always encourage someone, if they want to book shows, to go ahead and try it, because personally, if I didn't try it, I wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? And it really is an awesome and fun process once you really get the things going. It is a little bit more difficult to start up and grow your fan base or scene or whatever you call it. But yeah, I would say that, if you find something that like you want to do, you could just reach out to them and find an answer,
So what was the structure for you?
The structure for me was getting the date first from the venue, and then once I have this solidified date
from the venue. So you can't even be like, hey, I have this day, this date. You have to say, what days do you have open?
Well, that's how I would approach it.
Okay, all right,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Just hearing it out. Go for it.
So basically, like, I would say, hey, what calendar days do you have available? Because at that time, I wasn't working with bigger bands, like touring acts. I was just working with local shows. So they would give me, like, weekdays. So I started a showcase, I guess you could call it, called Tuesday Throwdown. And it would be every Tuesday. Well, not every Tuesday, but one Tuesday a month, where I would just have a showcase of local bands. And from then, like, I would also go to a lot of shows and make a lot of connections there as well. So if I see like a basement show and there's a touring band, I'll be like, hey, you guys want to play the Chalk Balcony and come back, and like really start building the connections with smaller agents and smaller touring bands.
All right. So then now you get the date. You say, all right, fuck yeah, I got the date. It's a Tuesday. I'll take a fucking Tuesday. We'll turn up on a Tuesday, right?
That's right.
So and then you got a few bands to go, and you set that up. The other part that comes, and the biggest complaint, now I'm speaking to a promoter, right? One of the biggest complaints that I get from bands when I talk about, because I like to talk a lot about the process, about like setting up shows and doing this thing of ours. So the thing that the biggest complaint that I get is that they say that promoters and venues rip off the artists, right?
Okay.
So when we talk about like 75 people, so $10 a head.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
$750.
Yep.
So how did that get split up? Are you one of those that I pay the bands, or this is for exposure, or?
So it's a little bit of both. So if I feel like the band drew a ton of people, really tried and promoted their show, I'm gonna pay them. If I feel like this band didn't try anything, just came, played, and left, I'm not going to pay them, because if you're not trying, why should I try? You know what I mean? So that's basically how my thing works. But basically, always the venue first, and then whatever's left is the community pot. You know what I mean?
So let's talk about the Chalk when you were there.
Yeah.
It's 3 years ago, so it really shouldn't matter now since the pricing structure would have changed, right?
Yeah.
What was the fee for the Chalk?
I want to say it was around $350 and like 20%.
Motherfucker, for a Tuesday? For real?
Yeah.
$350 and 20%.
Yeah.
Holy fuck balls. No wonder. No fucking wonder these house shows are popping the fuck off.
Yeah.
Motherfucker. Dude, that shit hit my gut. Like, now, were you shitting your pants at all when you were like, I got this fucking show going on a Tuesday. What the fuck is going to happen?
Yes and no. Like, I always have that pre-show anxiety of, are people going to show up? But at the same time, like, I would always have enough to cover it on my own, even if no one came.
Right.
So that wasn't really a worry of mine. It was just more like I had a stable job. I worked at disc makers at that time, where I was making CDs, vinyl, and stuff like that for independent musicians. So I really had like that stability where I could say, yeah, sure, why not? Let's give it a whirl.
All right. All right. So then let's just talk about that split there. So you got 350.
Mhm.
All right. So it's seven. So you $10 a head, 75 people, $750. 350. That's almost fucking half of it to the venue. Plus 20%. There's fucking half. That means you're only left with, give or take, 350, 325 left.
Yep.
You said how many bands?
If I remember
Six,
correctly,
you said?
6 or
Six?
7.
All right,
yeah,
so
yeah.
6. So 325. You wouldn't split that up 6 ways. You kind of like scouring Facebook posts, and you kind of maybe already had before the band set up an idea of like, oh, I'll pay these fuckers because they really promoted. I'll pay these guys. These guys didn't do fucking shit. You know what I mean? They complained or whatever the fuck they did.
Yep.
And then at the end of the night, okay, maybe they didn't do shit, but they brought people, but they just took off. That type of shit. So all of that goes into the factor of who's getting what.
Yeah.
Do you think that's something that's common with a lot of promoters? Do you think that bands have the idea of promoters wrong, or what do you think?
I think that a lot of bands work with the wrong people. I think that's the issue. One of my things is that I always try to weed out the people that, aren't doing the right thing and, stuff like that. And I try to prevent bands from working with them. I'd rather have them work with me just because I know they're going to have a better time. But yeah, there's a lot of bad promoters out there. There's some promoters that'll leave before the show's over with a lot of cash.
I've heard that.
Yeah,
I've heard some crazy shit about that. And then I've heard others. Do you ever do the pay to play?
Never.
Okay. Is that a scam?
So I hate pay to play.
Okay.
It's like the bane of my existence. But I do think it is worth it when there is a touring band that will most likely sell it out without you selling tickets, the same genre as you. That is literally the only 2 ways I think pay to play is worth it for your band. Because one, if it's going to sell out, then you have tickets for your friends that want to go to the sold out show. And 2, it's the same genre as your band. So the people that are going to be there will most likely at least give your music more of a chance than some other band that doesn't match your music at all.
Got it. So, the pay to play thing. All right. So we're talking about a touring act. Let's just say, fucking. I mean, I don't know how it works because I'm not there. But let's just say something like Tooth Grinder. Let's just say Tooth Grinder came through because we just interviewed them.
Yeah.
Tooth Grinder comes through. Let's say that I've got them down for a $300 guarantee, $500 guarantee, some shit like that, right?
Yep.
Would I fucking charge the band below me $200 to play that show?
So how I see it working is that the promoter gives the band like 50 tickets and says you have to sell 30. That kind of deal. So
you get 20 free. So like
no, you have to return them.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Motherfucker.
Like whatever you don't sell, you have to return. I have seen pay-to-play promoters, though, do pay sometimes per ticket you sold. Like they'll give you $2 or $3 per ticket. So it's not terrible that way.
All right.
Yeah.
See, I'm learning all kinds of new shit because you I mean, I'm telling you, and the other thing too is like on Facebook groups too is that they complain about, and I think there's a few others that I don't know what fucking group it is. That's just like booking agency or whatever, but they'll fucking go to everybody's Facebook page and be like, hey, I've got a spot for you, want to play? And then they'll line up like 6 bands on the bill, I guess, charge them each $100 a play or something like that.
Oh wow.
And then fucking
that's really prevalent in hip hop shows. That's what I've noticed is that it's so hard to be a hip hop artist and to get on those shows that hip hop artists will just pay to play.
What?
And just like, screw it, I want to play this show, whatever it takes, I will pay to play.
What the fuck? Oh shit. And so like they would probably charge them the guarantee to fucking.
Well, usually, I've heard some stories of just like hip hop acts just being like, hey, I want to play this show. I have like $200. Can I play?
Wow.
I've booked one hip hop show ever.
Which one?
It was all right. So it was Bones, Xavier Wolf, and this group called Sesh Hollow Water Boys.
Okay.
They're actually pretty big now, but when I booked them in 2015, they were kind of underground. I had that at the Troc balcony. See, like, I kicked myself in the butt for this one. So I booked the whole thing through my friend. My friend was like, Dom, please book this. Like, I've been talking to this guy. I don't know what to do. Can you book it for me? I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll do this for you. So I talked to him. I work out like a door deal just because, like, I honestly have no idea anything about hip hop, the market, nothing. My brand at that time was East Coast Metal. So here we got East Coast Metal putting on a hip hop show.
Fuck yeah.
So I got too nervous. And my buddy that worked at the Chalk Balcony, I was like, bro, like, do you want to just take this show? Because I'm a little worried about it. And I'm still kicking myself in the butt for it till this day because it sold out the Chalk Balcony and went to the main stage.
What the fuck?
And it was like, probably would have been the best show I've ever had.
So how did you? What made you worried about it? Like, how were you promoting it, or what?
Just because, like, I didn't have a view on the ticket sales, like, that went from the venue, so I really had no idea. Like, the event page wasn't like crazy popping off or anything like that, and I just felt uneasy about it, and I was just like, I just don't want this to be my problem.
Wow, and so that didn't trigger you to be like, oh fuck, I'm gonna look into this market.
No.
Really?
Yeah, no.
Was it the anxiety that came with it that you're like, no, fuck that. I don't ever want to do that again, or
it's just like I don't have the hip hop knowledge.
Okay. All right.
You know.
I got a homie that works for me. I call him a homie. We're always swapping the newest like hip hop shit that's coming through, and he's always going to shows, but yeah, I love that kid. He definitely has his finger on the pulse there.
Yeah.
That's a shame though, man. That's you live and learn, right?
That's right.
So fuck it. Now, what other shows have you thrown? Like what?
Well, let me tell you about the transition that from Chalk Balcony. So I would say, what was that? April, May, March of 2015. I started wanting to book bigger bands, and I wanted to take it to the next level. And I didn't know, where to put it, because I was like, Chalk Balcony is too expensive to do with a guarantee as a risk. With like a over $300 guarantee for whatever band, plus the venue. Like right there, I would need at least 75 people just to break even. So I was like, let me think about this a little bit differently. And I was just looking for more of that flat rate. I think the 20% is what killed me there, and I just like didn't want to do that because it was like you're already getting a flat rate plus a percentage of every person. Like I just didn't think that was right. So I was hanging out with one of my friends, and she was like, "Hey, like I know this spot. They're like revamping, what they like. I think the name, I don't even think it was called Voltage Lounge at that time or anything like that." And she linked me with the main guy at Voltage Lounge. And I'm telling you, he let me, book a show there. He gave me that. He was like, "Yeah, dude, I'll let you try it." Because he saw that I had some previous shows at the Chalk Balcony, and I wanted to book a bigger band, and I booked a band that was on Rise Records, My Ticket Home, and that was the first like bigger band that I had booked. So once I confirmed them, I tried to get literally the most popular locals that I knew, like were very popular, were playing like support on tour package shows. So I was like, let me just get a bunch of them, and I had my first Voltage Lounge show with My Ticket Home, and I labeled it Puke Fest. Because they're all about puking, and like that's just like their thing. It's like a fun grungy band, and that show, it shocked me. And it was like over 100 people. Like I was just like in awe. I was like, wow, I want to do this, and that's when I really started from there.
Wow. All right. That's crazy. So you did Puke Fest, right?
Yeah.
And so was it like the same but just without the 20%? Was it like the same? Were you doing Tuesdays? Were you getting?
It was a Tuesday. Personally, I don't even remember pricing like that. I kind of just once it's done, out of my mind, kind of thing.
So what's a fair price to pay a band? Like a local band?
See, I base that off of a bunch of things. Number one is the draw.
You ask people, hey, who are you here to see?
No.
Okay.
I could just tell.
Okay.
Yeah, like it's just surveying and watching and just, I would say I've, because I'm a comm major, I feel like I could read people pretty well, and like I know what they're thinking before they say it, kind of deal. Or I don't know. I just feel like I could tell like what bands people are really there to see, and that's the main basis, really.
Okay. And so from that, you're like, okay, at X, Y, Z, Y equals MX plus B,
Yeah,
carry the
exactly.
3, 2 plus 1.
Exactly.
We got 0, you get 5.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So there are a lot of factors in, I guess.
Yeah, and when it comes to touring bands, I honestly base that off of what I think they draw.
All right. So one time I fucking did a show and I paid $125 for this fucking band to come through. I forget the name. Was it Vehemence? No, it couldn't have been Vehemence. Maybe it was Vehemence. $125, right? So this is a funny story. So this is back in Texas. $125, and got the rider and their whole fucking deal. But when the homeboys sent me the contract, motherfuckers sent me the contract for Dallas, and those motherfuckers were only making $50 in Dallas. So I was super pissed about that. So, do you have a number in your head when you're looking at like doing a guarantee for a band? Is there something like, okay, go for it?
Absolutely. So like when I see a touring band, I have a good estimation of how many people actually like this band or would come out to see them. Like, yeah, Facebook likes don't mean anything, but it does give me a general idea of how many people are at least aware and have actually clicked the like button on that band where they've liked them enough to actually click it. 2, the first offer is always the lower ball offer because they're going to come back with something more. So I always have an idea of my range in my head. You know what I mean? Like, I'm going to offer this much because I know they're going to come back with this much, and then we'll meet in the middle, and it'll be what I expected, kind of. So that's how my thought process works, basically, on that.
Wow, man. And so have you ever done like guarantee plus a percentage of the door, that type of shit?
Oh, yeah. I've had some crazy weird deals where I've had like, we'll give you this amount of back end after this amount of people, but I have to make sure I get this percentage of promoter profit. It gets pretty intense sometimes. A lot of negotiating.
What's the shittiest band you've ever had to book? Oh, he's got one.
Ever had to book?
Okay. I maybe shittiest band you've ever booked. What like just gave you the fuck all of the time?
So I wouldn't say all right. So I do have a shitty situation,
Okay.
but I wouldn't say the band's shitty at all. I actually really like their music. But I did book this one band from Florida one time, and the lead vocalist got super wasted, and like it was just like he was too drunk, and like I wasn't about it because I was like, I'm paying this drunk idiot to scream in front of people. Like, I don't even know if he'll remember it the next day, kind of deal. So that was probably that, and then one other time where there was a fill-in vocalist for the main vocalist, and the fill-in didn't know the words, and he was reading them off his phone. That was a very hard day for me.
So what do you do in that situation?
I walked outside and screamed.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
But did these guys still get paid, or were you like, hold up, dude, this is not what the fuck we agreed on?
When it comes to like touring and headlining bands, I pay them before they're set, before they start, because I want them to know they're getting paid. I want them to be comfortable and be like, let's fucking rock out. So I already given him the money at that point.
Motherfucker.
I did call the agent though, and I did have some words for him. But it wasn't like I'm not that kind of guy that'd be like, yo, give me some money back. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna be like that.
So what did the agent say to that? I mean,
he didn't actually know like the situation was like that. He knew of the situation, but he didn't know it was going to be like that. So, I cut him some slack. Like, that's the world, man. That's life. Sometimes you get the shit end of the stick.
That's fucking crazy, man. That's like, yeah, dude. It'd be like somebody showing up drunk for work. You know what I mean? Like, hold up, dude. You got to go home for the day. You know what I mean? Like, I can't have you here right now. I guess it's the only place that you can do that. So let's talk about fucking what brought you to the fire and like what the fuck is happening here. 'Cause I'm super excited about that.
Yeah. So the fire. Let's see. Who did I meet at the fire? One of my buddies, Peter. He booked the first show I've ever been to here. There's with this band Varials, and they're actually pretty big now. They're on Fearless Records. But that was the first time I came here, and I was like, whoa, this spot is sweet. It's small, tight-knit. There's a cheap bar next to it, and you can have a lot of fun here. So I forget what my first show here was, but I've booked plenty of shows here, and they've all been great. Like this venue I really love just because the intimate setting and how small it is and how many people could actually pack in here and have like a really memorable time. So yeah, that's really how I found out about the fire. And then, like I said, we're about to talk about a little bit more FanFest. The first day of FanFest is at the fire here. And, you know, I'm 99.99% sure this place is going to be sold out and packed. So I'm really excited for that one.
So you're familiar with like all the changes that are happening. Karen has taken over. There's some like, you know, she's doing like, I fucking feel like she's staking everything on this fucking place.
Yep. Superwoman.
Say again?
She's Superwoman.
Fucking A, dude. Dude, I want to get her on the podcast. To me, that's going to be the fucking gold right there. Dude, so like, are you familiar with comedy at all?
A little bit, yeah.
All right, okay. So are you familiar with Mitzi from the Comedy Store in L.A.? You know, that whole situation, the Joe Rogan situation, and all right. Well, anyway, so the Comedy Store was like, it fucking kind of went to shambles for a while, and then now it's just seen this resurgence, this like fucking rebirth, and like that's kind of like where I feel like the fire is right now. Like, I don't know what happened before, and quite frankly, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I'm excited about what's happening now.
Yeah.
And so like you hear about like she's doing like classes and there's fucking workshops going down and there's fucking all kinds of new people are coming through and it just feels like something is fucking happening here. Definitely. And it's something that like super excites me, you know what I mean? And you got you coming in and is this the first time you're booking here or what other shows have you thrown?
Oh, no, I've thrown a bunch of shows here.
On a Tuesday?
On random days.
Okay.
It's always a random weekday for me usually.
How hard is it to get a Friday at a venue?
Hard.
Really?
Hard. And a lot more money.
Really?
Yeah, because that's the bar sale night, man.
How much more money?
It could be over $1,000 more.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Friday, Saturday is where venues make all their money.
So do you have to increase your ticket sale on a Friday? Like, do you have to be like, oh, it's $15 tonight, guys? Unless
I got something banging coming. You know, like literally the only time I do weekend shows is FanFest.
Okay. I can afford it this time. Right?
Yeah. I'm putting all my time, all my money, all my stress into this weekend.
So how many bands are going to be there at FanFest?
So right now I got around 40.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
All right, so what time does it start? So let's definitely get into that.
Yeah.
So FanFest, when is it?
June 29th, June 30th, and July 1st.
Whoa, dude, that's fucking 3 days of craziness.
Yeah.
You're going to be so fucking exhausted. Are you taking the next day off?
No, I already did.
Okay.
Day before and the day after.
Yeah, dude, you're going to be fucked.
Yeah.
That's 3 days. And is it 3 separate locations?
No. So the first day, June 29th, is here at the Fire.
Which is a Friday?
Yep.
Okay.
And then Saturday and Sunday is at the Voltage Lounge.
All right. What made you decide to break it up that way?
Well, all right. So the first year that I did FanFest was 2016. And the Friday show, I had it at a house venue.
Fuck yeah.
And it was like a kickoff. And I wanted to continue that kickoff show. And I feel like the Fire is the closest place to having a venue and also it almost being a house venue.
That's exactly the way. We're in a kitchen right now.
Exactly.
But anyway, go ahead.
Exactly. So like I wanted to keep that consistency of having that Friday kickoff show and then having Saturday and Sunday because FanFest 2016, Saturday and Sunday, we're at Voltage Lounge as well. So I wanted to keep that going. The first year, 2016, was at the Underground Animal, was the name of the house show venue. And that place, it was sold out before the show started. And I was grilling burgers. There was beer. It was such a good time. And I want to recreate that for this year.
Okay, so you're gonna grill or what?
Yeah, we're getting the grill out.
Fuck yeah, man! I'm from Texas, so I love that shit. All right, so do you know who's playing what days? Who's gonna be here at the fire?
So who do I have here at the fire?
Right.
Well, I haven't really released the day-by-day schedule yet.
That's fine.
I just got to work on a couple more things. I know the band I have headlining the fire is playing a show soon in Philly, so I can't announce that until after they play here, just because it would kind of just,
I understand.
mess things up a little bit. So I got to time things out a little bit differently. I had this planned where all the bands would have been announced already. But just because of, radius and stuff like that, I did have to hold off on the full announcement so far.
All right. So it's broken off into 3 fucking days, 40 bands. You buy 1 ticket, get all 3 days?
So there are 75, I make a limited amount, 75 3-day passes available. And that's because it comes with stuff. I give you some goodies. I get you a lanyard, get you a laminate, get you a poster. Just some stuff to take back because I really want this to, be the next step. You know what I mean? Like, I really see that FamFest, it's not Warped Tour. It's not any big festival. This is like the first stepping stone. Like, once you play FamFest, like, I want you to be on to bigger and better things.
So is FamFest all locals?
So it's mostly locals, yes. But I do have out of state bands that I consider local because they come through a lot. They've built a lot of friend connections and stuff like that. And then the headliners, the Sunday headliner is local. The other 2 most likely will not be.
Okay. Why FamFest? Where did
So FamFest started because of the Fam 100 squad. I'm not gonna lie.
why didn't I fucking get that?
So I was like, man, like the Fam 100 squad was great. Let's make a festival that builds a community just like the Fam 100 squad did.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Wow. So a lot of people that were in that Facebook group are also either have performed or will be performing or
100%. Yeah. They either have or they've came or, they've been a part of it in some way. Either told a friend, something like that.
How many people do you expect? How many people do you expect for that?
Including or not including band members?
Yeah, not including band members because that's...
Yeah. To be honest, I could only hope for the best. I'm hoping for it to sell out. So, here...
How many tickets do you have available? Total?
For 450, I believe.
450, okay.
Yeah. So the 3-day passes are included in that too.
All right. How much are the 3-day passes?
$40.
$40. Okay, gets you unlimited fucking access to the whole fucking thing.
Yep.
And the day passes, how much are those?
So Saturday and Sunday's 25 and Friday's 10.
Okay, 25 a day.
Yep.
And what did you say? $40 for the 3-day pass? You better off just getting the $40 3-day pass.
That's what I've been
that shit's
saying.
Gonna sell the fuck out.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude. Because what the fuck? What if I do Saturday and Sunday? I'm in fucking $10 over anyway, and I don't get to fucking participate on Friday.
Exactly.
Motherfucker.
That's how
you
I
are a
plan it out.
communications motherfucker. You really are. God damn. All right. Well, that's really fucking great. So, and you said how many bands?
Around 40. I don't have the solid number just yet.
So 40. That's a fucking $1 a band.
Exactly.
You can't fucking beat that shit.
Exactly.
You can't beat that. That's
Try to make it affordable for everyone. That's the whole point.
That's great, dude. That's fucking awesome. And now let's talk about genres and stuff. Is it all metal? What is it?
No,
is it broken up by day? What do you think?
It's not. So 2016 was all metal. This year I've really expanded my networks, and I feel like a lot of the indie post-rock bands aren't getting much love. So I definitely mixed a couple of those into this year. And that was just because, 1, they'll probably bring a different fan base as well. And 2, it'll be a little eye-opening to people that just only listen to heavy music.
All right. So you'll never do hip-hop?
I don't think so, no.
Never on FamFest?
No.
Oh, man.
I've had many people ask, but I don't think it'll ever happen.
That hurts a little bit. All right. I mean, I get it.
My hip-hop catalog is literally Notorious B.I.G. and Ghostface Killah, and that's about it.
Bro, you get some of them. You get some Wu-Tang Killer Bees in there to make some shit happen. Dude, is there anything that I didn't cover? Anything that you'd like to add? Something you'd like to say?
Let me see here. So I really want to make a point that FamFest is not just a festival; it's a community gathering, and
Like
it's
the Juggalos.
yeah, exactly. Woo woo, down with the clown till I'm in the ground. But it really is about making connections. Like, yeah, like if your band's not playing this year, come out, talk to me, talk to all the other bands, and you'll get something out of it. And if if you're just a music lover, it's more of a reason to come because there's 40 bands that half of them you probably never heard of before, and secondly, it's going to be like a small shopping mall with all the merch there. So it's going to be the place to be, I hope, at least for one weekend in June.
That's awesome, brother. This was such a fun, insightful fucking interview. I really appreciate you taking the time out to speak with me about it. People want to get a hold of you. How do they do that?
Facebook only. I'm the Facebook promoter.
All right. All right, brother. Hey, Dominic, thank you so much for your time, brother. I appreciate it. And I really look forward to seeing what the fuck you put together. If you want to link up and you've got some bands that you'd like to have me interview that are performing at the Fire, leading up to the event, I'm happy to do that for you. Just keep me in the loop and see what we can work out. I'm pretty easy to get a hold of.
Thank you so much for having me, man. I'll definitely be sending bands your way.
Excellent, man. Thank you so much, brother. Talk to you later.
All right.